Hello, hello, hello. My name is Enchantra Whitney Ward, better known as Enchantra Sanders. I am an early childhood educator um, from the west side of Chicago, and I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast called The Lady of Divinity, and it's streamed everywhere. But this is not why I'm here. I am making this video today because I think I need to shed light on a situation that I have been dealing with for a very long time now. Back in 2019, I started working for a company called Easter Seals Gilchrist Marchman on the west side of Chicago. Now, the location of the center is actually located in the neighborhood that I grew up in. And so my daughter and my nephews were actually students there at the time. Um, my nephews was having a lot of problems in his classroom, behavior issues, and the the site director saw how I maintained him and interacted with him, and so she asked me um, some tips or techniques on how to deal with his behavior, and I started volunteering in his classroom just to, keep him on track. And the site director actually begged me to come aboard because at the time I was working at a temp service that sent their employees around to different companies. And she knew that, and she was like, "Do you want a permanent position?" And I was kind of like, I don't know, because the company that I was with, we got paid weekly, and I got to make my own schedule. So I wasn't really trying to find a permanent position, but I was open for it. And then she just kept like every day I would drop my daughter off. She was just like she just gave me reasons of why I should just come on board. And she's like, you get to cut your commute time in half. You get to work closely with your daughter. Um, and also she wanted me to know that she would find funding to help me further my education and get my CDA or just get my degree so I can somewhere down the line be able to have my own classroom, which was a goal of mine. So everything was good. Everything was A1. I'm like, this is okay. This is what I want to do. This is something that I could see myself doing and flourishing in. And to put the cherry on top, to work in the same neighborhood that you grew up in and to help um, teach and guide children of your friends was pretty much an honor for me. So, I jumped on it. I jumped on it, and I started working there. When I first started working there, for maybe the first couple of weeks, everything turned out right. It was good. It was Everybody was happy go lucky. It was very warm and welcoming, and I was like, I made a good decision. I'm close with my daughter. She had about a good, cause she was in the baby room, so she had about a good 3-4 more years to be in that center. So I was like, this is going to work out fine. And plus, if you from Chicago, cutting down your travel time, your commute time is definitely a plus. So like I said, it was something that I was like, okay, this is my life now. However, after a few weeks, I started noticing some things in the classroom that didn't sit well with me. I started noticing a lot of favoritism there between this teacher, the co-teacher that I had, the lead teacher of the classroom, and I hate to bring race and stuff up in it, but race plays a big part in what I'm about to tell you. So she was a white woman, and every other teacher or assistant teacher or floater there was black or either Hispanic. But she seemed to get a lot of favoritism. She got away with a lot of inappropriate conduct, and not to go fully into everything because it's if I do that, it's going to be a lot. But she did some inappropriate things, and not only her, the admin was doing some inappropriate thing race wise, and I started making note of everything, and I started really voicing my opinion on what was going on. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that goes to a job and as soon as something is wrong, oh my God, you guys are fix this. No, it was something that I knew I could handle, but I didn't want to. I shouldn't have to. You know, what you are expected when you are an employee is that you have a safe space to work. And with this teacher and what they allow her to get away with turned her into a monster. She was an absolute bully. She made the aura and the energy in the classroom very unbearable and very toxic. And they allowed all these things. And I wasn't the only teacher who complained, but I was the only teacher who was standing on their necks about with my complaints because I was the teacher who was the the inappropriateness was directed towards. I was like in the line of fire, so I was getting on a daily. Um, she would just do really inappropriate things. Like she was very much lazy. She never wanted to clean up. Even when you tried to clean up the classroom, she didn't want you to do that. If you tried to rearrange the furniture, she didn't want you to do that. She would throw these very inappropriate, unprofessional fits if she didn't get her way. We were teachers, so and we had like what 3 to 5 year olds, and we had to like model them how to eat family style and how to hold a spoon and how to do this and do that. And she would get extremely visibly upset if she didn't get food, or if just anyone disagreed with her, or if anyone new came in and they was a tad bit better. And I hate to say better because we're all teachers, but if they were better at structuring the classroom or structuring the day, she hated that. She hated to feel, what's the word, like shown up. It was crazy. And like I said, I kept making note of this, and I'm an adult. I can deal with bullying. I've dealt with bullying my entire life, so I know how to duck and dodge and move around and just be out of people's way because I wasn't really there to make friends. I was there to do my job. But her behavior got so bad that it was no longer um, directed towards me or any other staff member or even the admin, because there was times where she was very much unprofessional towards the administration. It started bleeding on over to the children, and that was where I kind of like drew the line or raised the red flag. I was like, I'm done. No, we can't do this. She had a few inappropriate incidents with the children, and I reported it internally because you know when you working in an education system, we are mandated reporters. But the certain incidents that was happening, it didn't directly um, hurt the children, but they were definitely inappropriate, and which turned to neglectful in the beginning. And I had to stand up for myself and stand up for the kids there. And I reported it, and I kept documentation. I made note of everything, but they never did anything about her. They never did anything about her conduct. Never did anything about her inappropriate ways, her laziness, her refusal to work with others. They never did anything about it. And they actually went after me. And so I guess I was an easy target because I was like one of the newest staff members and I worked with her. And I didn't hold the degree that most of the teachers there hold, especially her. She was a I think level 4, something like that is whole teacher lingo. But she held a high degree, and so they pretty much needed her, and so they showed a lot of favoritism. And like I said, I reported everything internally, and I kept going. And you know, if it wasn't for the children, I think I would have just packed it all up and left. But I was actually after becoming a Florida teacher, I actually had got promotion to become an ICA. An ICA is an inclusion classroom assistant, where I worked with the children who had like disabilities, IEPs, behavior issues, and so I had got a little bit of a raise, and I was finally benefited. So it was a a higher position for me, and I got paid more than I've ever got paid before. And if it wasn't for the kids, because the children there, I actually fell in love with. There were children there that I worked one on one with, and she needed me. I had one girl, she was nonverbal, but I got her on a routine, and I helped her guide her through her classroom so she wouldn't be left out of the learning process or the play experience. I was her girl. I was her guide, and this teacher started to do inappropriate behavior towards this child, in particular the child. And I think she had a lot of problems with children who were nonverbal, and so her negativity was directed towards this child. And one day she did something inappropriate, and I directly went to the admin, and I was like, no, she was she had targeted the girl. She had threw a toy hammer at her, and an inch to the left or inch to the right, it would have hit her in her head. But I immediately went to the admin, me and another teacher that was in there, and they pretty much pushed it under the rug. And so I finally reported that incident, and that was when all hell broke loose. Now that I put pen to the paper that she was being inappropriate to the children, I think that opened up a whole new can of worms. It was a whole different ball game, because immediately after I reported her for inappropriateness towards a child, they retaliated against me. And they did everything under the sun. They did everything to get me to resign or to fire me. They took away my benefits. They said derogatory comments about my own personal children. They demoted me to part time, which took away benefits. Um, they tried to just get a rise out of me. They mismanaged me, micromanaged me. They restricted me from a classroom. They snatched me out the classroom I was in. It was just a lot of stuff that they did that showed me they wanted me out of there, and they loved her, which wasn't fair. So finally, after months of dealing with all that internal retaliation, she did the ultimate thing. She grabbed on a child's arm forcefully, aggressively, at the lunch table. Her and I were in there by ourselves, and I immediately like screamed at her, like, what, you know, I went there, like, what are you doing? And she didn't turn around, and I asked her 3 times, and I was like, no, this can't happen. Coincidentally, I was having a meeting with the president of the company about her behavior, because it was a lot of incidents, and they were very after that incident had happened, and with this meeting with the president of the company and the HR director, they were extremely dismissive. And I went through different portals trying to get somebody to either get this teacher some more training or get her out of here, because she was very inappropriate. And so finally, when I get up to the president of the company and the head of HR, I was thinking they was going to help me. I was thinking that this my admin, my supervisor, didn't tell them what was going on, because I had made it all internal. So I got all the way up to the president, and they were dismissive of me. They didn't pretty much care. They literally was like, no, like, what can we do to fix this? And I was like, I don't trust her around children who are nonverbal. And they pretty much pushed me out. And from that incident where she grabbed that child's arm, I ended up calling DCFS, and that's the Department of Children and Family Services here in Chicago. And That was a whole nother can. Like I set up cans, and they just all was just boop 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 bursting out, and that opened up a firestorm. And wow, well before the DCFS called, I had called her, working, I had called her, this same teacher, fraudulently labeling a child that we had just got into our classroom as having learning disabilities. Now, this child in particular, I had worked with him before because I would go to, sometimes I would go and help out in other classes. And this child, I had worked with him before. He was a smart kid. He was busy. He was very busy, but he was very smart. And as soon as he came over to our side of the center, she immediately wanted to um, fill out paperwork and said that he had a learning disability or that or that he had autism. And I'm like, I saw this paperwork because since I was an ICA, I had the go ahead to go through the files and make sure, all of our children had their assessments and all those things. And as I was going through it, I'm like, wait a minute, this child doesn't have autism. This child doesn't need special education. There's nothing wrong with him. And now, forgive me for saying wrong. There's nothing challenging about him. There's nothing there that says autism. There's nothing there that says special education. He was just a busy child who needed direction. And when she did this paperwork, the score she gave him would immediately put him on the line of being labeled a child with disabilities. So when I saw this paperwork, I immediately went to another staff member and I was like, "Can you look at this for me real quick?" And she looked at it and she agreed with me. She was like, "No, this doesn't make sense." So we went into the specialist, and she said the same thing. "Oh no, we have to change this. This doesn't make sense. This child does not need this type of services." So then we went to the admin, and one of the three admins that was there agreed with us. She was like, "No, this teacher needs to do this over. This is not correct. This doesn't make sense. This child does not need any type of services. He does not need to be referred or anything." All three, four of us agreed that this wasn't the right course to take for this child. And it kind of clicked in my head at that time because my own nephew, who before I started working there, this same teacher said that he needed special services. He had a little bit of a behavior issue as well. And the reason why he was no longer at the school that I was working at anymore is because they sent him to a special school saying that, he was autistic or whatever. And I've always told my sister, who was the mother of my nephew, I told her, I don't think he's autistic even before I even, start working at this company. I don't think he's autistic. I don't think he needs that. But she was so dead set on trusting the teachers and the site director. She was dead set on trusting them. So she was like, "Well, the teacher said that he needed. So we're just going to go and, see a doctor and that and that." So, I mean, that's my sister's child. I let her do her thing, and because my son is autistic. My son is 20 years old. So I have experience with working with children that's on the spectrum. And I've done my research. I'm an advocate of children with autism. That was one of the main reasons why I said yes to working for Easter Seals, because they are the gurus of the autistic world. They're supposed to be the ones that help children and young adults, transition in life. And since she was so dead set on accepting this diagnosis of her child, I just let it go. But when I saw that paperwork about that child that was in our classroom, it clicked in my head that, whoa, something's not right. Something's definitely not right. That's one child, two child, and then there was another parent that I talked to, and she actually pulled her son out of that school because she said that they were trying to label him as autistic. So that's the third child. I'm like, wait, yeah, something's not right here. So when I did contact DCFS, I also told them to check into her history of the children that she has referred for special services, because That's 3 kids already that I think she is fraudulently labeling. I don't know if it's for money, or I didn't know if it was for um, just to get them out of her hair. I didn't know. But moving forward, I end up getting fired, wrongfully terminated. They had put me on a development plan, um, and I feel this was strategically a way to try to get me up out of there. But they had put me on a development plan, and I had like 60 days to improve. They gave me a whole bunch of false stuff stating that I need to improve in this, I need to improve in that. Now, I would like to make note: never, ever, ever have I ever been written up, disciplined, or said that I was doing a bad job. I was actually what you would call a star employee there. I was showed off when visitors would come. They was like, that's that girl. She's by the book. La la la. This and that. She's great with children with disabilities. So never. I wasn't perfect. That's the truth. I wasn't perfect. But I never was written up. I never was reprimanded. I never got in trouble there. And so when they put me on this development plan, it was filled with lies. And I'm like, this didn't happen. They said I was being inappropriate with parents and this and that. Just all lies just to try to get me to quit or to get fired. And so but it ended up working. They ended up finding some way to say I did something wrong, and they ended up firing me. Right as soon as they fired me, I went straight and contacted a lawyer. I'm like, I'm not sitting down for this. I'm not. This is wrong. This company literally ripped my goals and dreams away because I was trying to shed light on what I feel was an inappropriate teacher doing fraudulent things. I'm not sure if it was to their knowledge that she was doing fraudulent things, but what I do know is that I told everyone that I could, and by the time I got up to the very top person, them being so dismissive and making the meeting so uncomfortable, I said, no, I'm just going to go to the people. I'm just going to go to DCFS and take it from there. So they fired me, and I contacted a lawyer. Didn't have no money at the time, so I went through one of those lawyers that go on like a contingency. They pay if they win for you. And at first that felt good. That I was like, okay, I got me a shark on my side. We finna win this. I was very much expecting a great outcome because I had so much paperwork. I had so many witnesses. I had so many people who understood what I was saying and told me that what was going on in that company was wrong and what they did to me was wrong. I know it was going to be a battle, but I wasn't prepared for what was going to actually happen. And so I get with this lawyer. It takes a long time for my case to get a date on a docket. Um, and things just wasn't going right. As soon as I filed the lawsuit, things in my life just started crumbling. My son, like I said, he's autistic, and he had just went through his redetermination for his own benefits. And they went through his school. They sent him to their own doctors, and each teacher, every doctor that they sent him to, said, yeah, he's eligible for benefits going into adulthood. But as soon as I filed this lawsuit, they sent me paperwork saying that your child is no longer considered having special needs, so he's not getting his benefits. I'm like, whoa, that doesn't make sense. He just saw y'all doctors. His teachers just went through, you know, they just told y'all what's going on with him in the classroom and how he processes things. And y'all said that he was approved. Why now are y'all telling me that he can't get any benefits now and he's no longer considered um, having special needs? So I went to bat. I went to bat because I'm like, my son needs these benefits. He needs the help. He's going to go to college. Hopefully he's going to go to college, and he's going to need an aid. He wants to further his education, And if they take away his benefits or take away any type of help that he's going to get, that wasn't fair. And so I fought that. I went to bat for that, and I got that situated. But then either after that, everything was just falling apart. Um, After my initial firing, I took a little bit of a break because mentally working with those people at that center was a lot for me. And going through what I went through, it was mentally draining. So I took a little bit of a break, and then when I went back, to get back into the field, no one would hire me. No one. No one would hire me. Um, and when I did finally get hired at some jobs, things will happen. Strange things will happen. People will turn on me. Uh, they will befriend me and then turn on me. And it was just weird. It was just really weird. And I had personal things at home. My mailbox was getting broken into. I had people just weird people just trying to befriend me and get into my life, and it didn't sit well with me. I It was a lot. It was a lot, and I am still dealing with this a lot. No, no, back to my case. I'm sorry. Back to my case. Finally, we're on the docket, and I get switched to a new lawyer. This new lawyer and his team tried to make me settle my case very, very, very early on. They tried to make me settle my case. I wasn't ready to settle because we didn't even get started yet, and they wanted me to settle. I'm like, no, that's not what I want to do at this time. Not saying that I was never going to settle. I just wanted to get the ball rolling. And so they wanted me to settle. I mean, they were forceful, and I mean forceful in trying to make me settle. But something in me just kept telling me, it is not time for that, Enchantra. It's not time for that. And I didn't want to settle, not at that time. And, I had to literally stand up to them and tell them, I am your client, and I'm telling you that I do not want to settle at this time. And I did mention to them, this doesn't seem ethical. And as soon as I said this doesn't seem ethical, they switched it back. They was like, oh, okay, well, no, we're just trying to look at the best course of things, and it just all felt weird. And I'm a very intuitive person, and I go off of energy, and it did not seem right, you know. But all in all, they ended up this lawyer people. They ended up dropping my case like right at a crucial point, and that really messed me up. I had to go look searching high and low to try to find someone to pick my case back up and help me, but that never happened. No one wanted to touch my case. Nobody wanted to touch it at all. So I became my own lawyer. I literally became my own lawyer. I wrote my own because they wanted to go for a summary judgment, and I had to fight that. And finally, after months and months and months of them, the other party like lagging and putting things to the side and extending and extending and extending and extending, and other weird stuff is happening in my life, and weird people are popping up. Even things with my landlord, it got really crazy, and you know, finally, like I said, I became my own lawyer. I researched and I put in what I was supposed to put in, and the judge ended up siding with the defendants and said that something about a paperwork that actually proved that the center that I worked at knew that I was the one who put in a call to the DCFS. It proved it. The reason why it proved it is because the DCFS mailed the letter to tell me the findings. Um, because I told them who I was, and I told them, I wanted to stay on top of this case. And so they actually mailed the findings to the center. And the center, someone at the center ended up putting it in my mailbox. So they knew it was me. It was addressed to me, but mailed to the center from DCFS. But that same letter never made it to the defendants, so they say. But I gave that letter to my lawyers. It was a huge part of my case. So why I wouldn't give it to my lawyers is beyond me. But somewhere somebody screwed up, which cost me my case. And right now today, I'm in the process of appealing it. I've looked around for someone to help me with the appeal. I get on the phone and I talk to people and I tell them what's going on. And in the beginning, they are very helpful. They're like, "Oh, this, yeah, I could help you with that. I could do that. We can do this. We can do that." But then maybe a couple of days or a week later, they call me or email me, "Oh, we can't help you." It's like, what? I even went to free legal help, like a Chicago legal help team. And I went there at a resource center on the south side and I told them my case and they were like intrigued. They was like, okay, wow, this happened. And you want to go after them, the company, and you want to go after the lawyer. I'm like, I want to do both, you know. And they were all gun ho and telling me, oh, we can help you. But then afterwards, a week later, a week and probably a half later, when it gets close to the time for me to do my appeal, submit my appeal, they say we can't help you. Like, what is going on? Why? Why is this happening? So, to be honest with you guys, I feel like I've been blackballed in my city. I feel targeted by who, I don't know, maybe a few people, but something ain't right. And I am fighting not only for myself, but I am fighting for children who will be at these centers and who will get fraudulently labeled because either the color of their skin or because a teacher don't want to deal with them. And I should not have to be fighting by myself. I am doing this video because I need to shed light on what's going on. I've been going through this for months, for over a year now, and I'm tired. I'm very tired. But if I don't continue fighting this, not only will they win, they're going to continue to falsely label black boys, black girls, brown boys, brown girls with these stigmas and these labels, you know, hurting them in the long run. And I should not have to be fighting this fight alone. Now, I've lived in America my whole life, so we all know the history of America and its racism. We all know that, you know, there's a little bit of racism in every aspect of our country. Is it fun to think about? Is it fun to talk about? No, but it's reality. It's what's happening, and I'm doing this by myself. And it has taken a toll on my mental. It has taken a toll on my livelihood. That company, I feel, has went after me in every aspect they could, and I've been silent about it because I mean I didn't want all this attention. I didn't want to do all that stuff. I just wanted to hopefully like win my case and start my own daycare center and give children in my neighborhood, children that look like me, children that look like my children, proper education, proper guidance, and be an advocate for them. That was my plan. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want all this. I didn't want to have to go through all this. But now I feel like I'm being targeted. And it's not fun. And I need help. And I don't know if this video is going to work. I've done a GoFundMe, which never went nowhere. I reached out to some African American leaders. I'm not going to name names. I never got any responses. I'm tired. I'm tired. And but I'm a warrior. I know I am. I am a warrior. And God gives his biggest fights to his most strongest warriors. And this is a big, huge fight. They have no right to do what they did to me and to continue to do what they are doing to children. It is not right. It is not fair. And I will not shut up about it. I will not be silent. You know, even though this is hard and I'm tired and it's not fair, I'm going to continue to fight and I'm going to continue to be the advocate that I am. And my appeal is due tomorrow, and I'm finishing it up, and I'm tired, but I'm gonna keep going. So if anybody is out there who has any advice or know anyone that can help me, send them my way. I Even if you just send some good energy my way, because we all know when you if enough people get on the same frequency, we could change the world, like seriously. And I need some good energy sent my way. If everyone could share this, just get this story out there, because what they are doing is wrong, and they chose the right person to do it to. It's not going to look good. It's not going to end well for them, but I promise you I will continue to fight. I just need some more warriors on my team. So thank you for listening. Please like, please share, and help me. Okay? Thank you so much.